Welcome to Business Live Extra, the show that focuses on business leaders and entrepreneurs. This week, a powerful woman in business who knows the ingredients to success. She has been named Businesswoman of the Year and Best CEO by Business Suite. She's a certified HACCP Consultant with over 3 decades in the baking industry. Our guest today is Michelle Chong, CEO of Honey Bun Limited. Michelle, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
It's great, Michelle.
Yeah.
It's a little COVID tap.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. You know, Michelle, Honey Bun's track record, and your track record as CEO, it's undeniable. I mean, the results have been phenomenal, over the past. How long has it been now? Is it 5, 10?
38 years.
Well, but how long have you been on the stock markets now?
Since 2012, so that's 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And I remember when you listed, you were doing roughly a couple $100 million in sales.
Yes.
Was it 300 million or?
Yes, something like that, yeah.
And your results just out now, you're doing well over 1.7 billion.
1.8 billion.
1 billion.
Yes.
So
yes.
what's your secret sauce?
I guess I always like to say that it might sound dull, but governance has really been the secret sauce behind it all, because even before I knew about corporate governance, once we went on the stock exchange, we were just doing things the right way. Mm-hmm. Doing the planning that you would normally do in a bigger company. And so I think those things really propelled us. It's just like the hare and the turtle. You're just doing the right thing every day, plodding along, planning, collecting the data, using that to inform you as to what you need to do next year, planning on how you're going to achieve it. So it's just a process that you adopt. It's not all over the place. It's not buck up.
Right.
Definitely not.
And yeah, if you had to tell us, and even for our entrepreneurs out there, yes, our viewers, what are some of the key things about governance that have really resonated with you, or you've really driven into Honey Bun over the years?
Well, I think that the first things that we did when we bought the business in 1982 was that we just managed the business and personal very separate. Mm-hmm. That way you always knew exactly what you achieved, because it wasn't like you kept putting things in this pocket and taking it out. You just had 2 different pockets. This is a business pocket, this is a personal pocket.
Yes.
So if the personal pocket is not doing well, then, I remember there was a time early in business where I took another part-time job.
You did?
Very early, yes. It was very difficult in the 90s when the dollar was devaluing. Mm-hmm. I actually had to seek another source of income.
And what type of job was that? Like what sector?
It was similar. The inventory control for another company.
Okay.
Yes, because we did so well in inventory control. I remember we were in the 90s. This is many years ago. We were actually taking stock every week.
Okay.
And it's a lot of stock. So if we didn't take stock every week, we wouldn't know what we were losing. Mm-hmm. So we needed to know if our stock based on production usage, if it was shrinking or not.
And you would take the stock personally?
I would be a big part of it.
A big part of it.
Big part of it.
Okay.
Certainly the back end where you tally up what it should be and do the figures in the spreadsheet, what it is, and then calculate the variance.
And I see a lot of companies today who take stock every 30 days or every 90 days. And you mentioned an important point. You were doing it weekly, all the way back then.
All the way back then.
And I was born in 1982, right? So how, it's a big message, because a lot of companies, we see on Business Live Extra or Business Live always say they're struggling with inventory. They don't know how to fix it.
Yes.
So sticking on that point, Michelle, how did you get that to work? And how were you measuring it successfully?
Well, we were using spreadsheets from then, and I don't think spreadsheets were very popular at that time in the early 90s or so. I mean, they were popular, but not smaller companies using them. Mm-hmm. And I needed to know on a weekly basis how we were doing as a business. I just couldn't wait till the end of the month.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is in me. I was a math teacher before we started Honey Bun. Uh-huh. So I guess I had some math skills that I could have transferred
into the business. And why, why did you and the family elect to, buy, say, Honey Bun or go into the baking business in 1982?
Okay,
What was the thought
my husband
process?
Herbie and I met in about 1976, and that was in Canada. And when we came to Jamaica, because he had a pizza business up there, we were looking for a bakery here. So when he found that, it was in Spanish Court, it was 2 outlets, Spanish Court and Premier Plaza. And he bought that business, and that was the end of teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
And teaching now, is that something that you went to school for, or is it something that naturally you evolved into?
Always loved teaching.
Teaching.
Always loved teaching. So when we bought Honey Bun, I actually was very disappointed. The way I engaged it, though, was I'm going to have a lot of staff to teach things to. So I have embraced it since, and I've enjoyed it. I like the business side of whatever we're doing. So it's manufacturing. I've come to love manufacturing. And so it was just a matter of transferring the same skills, but using them differently.
And do you think that ingredient has made you a very, maybe patient, mentoring, CEO and person as compared to a lot of CEOs, globally who seem to, maybe have tempers and just impatient? Is it the teaching side of you?
I definitely think so. Definitely think so. And the fact that you're engaging people to grow and develop. In teaching, it's a similar thing in the business. You're trying to develop people and their knowledge. So, it might sound bad, but it wasn't all about the money. It was certainly about achieving, the relationship with the staff. I mean, I have people who go away and come back and visit me and say, they can't believe how much they've learned. They call Honey Bun a university.
And Honey Bun has actually won a tremendous amount of Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practice Awards. I don't know the exact quantity, but it seems every year you win another award, and you win another award, and it's been such a young company.
Yes.
And you've mentioned a couple of times corporate governance and how much you've focused on governance.
Yes.
So what do you attribute all of this JSE success to, besides the profits, but all these awards at the JSE?
Well, the JSE Award for Corporate Governance, remember, we've been doing corporate governance for long before the stock exchange. I remember when our auditors came to us, he said, Michelle, you need to join the junior stock exchange because you're already doing what a public company should be doing. We were having advisor meetings, we were doing monthly reports, we were doing a lot of the things already. So it took us no time to prepare for going on the stock exchange. Mind you, when you do go on, you realize all the I's that need to be dotted and T's that needs to be crossed. So it's a different standard. But we were already doing corporate governance. So it was easy to take it in. And it was just this week in an interview with the PSOJ, where we were shortlisted for this year's Corporate Governance Award, that I said, I have learned...
From the PSOJ perspective?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. PSOJ and Jamaica Stock Exchange, they do the awards jointly.
Okay.
So when they interviewed me, I said, I've learned so much from just applying for this award, because I remember maybe 3 years ago, we went and they were like, do you have a foundation? And I was like, really?
So you mean the criteria and just applying for the award has given you more ideas how to streamline a company?
Every year.
Okay.
Every year. So this year's interview would have given us some new ideas on what to improve on. So I encourage everybody, even if you're not winning an award, to certainly apply to some of the award categories that the different associations have.
And based on the growth in your revenues, your profits, but also the number of awards you've won and just your products in the market, do shareholders now call you, or do people bump into you and actually feel like you're a main market company already, even though you're 2 years away?
Not really. I don't think the public knows those details. They may just know that you're a public company, but they're not so clear on the difference between junior and main.
Okay.
I don't think they're that.
They just look at you that you're listed.
Yes.
You're public.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
And the other investors might know.
Might know.
Yes.
How would you say, how has that worked, to your advantage or to Honey Bun's advantage since listing? Has it been a big benefit to the company since being public?
Tremendous. Because quite a few of our advisors, pre going on the stock market, became directors.
Okay.
But it makes a big difference overnight. They're
Yes.
now a director on a public company board, and they were the same people, but they were certainly doing differently and much more now than they were
Yes.
doing on just a private company.
Yeah.
And you know, other people come to you because of your public records to engage you for banking, financing, facilities, that sort of thing.
I mean, your banker can just go bam to the website and everything's there.
Yes,
Makes a big difference, you find, with dealing with bankers in Jamaica?
yes,
Okay.
it does. I think we already had a very good relationship before, but I think we were going to them. I think they're coming to you now more to find out, you know, what do you need, that sort of thing.
With
So
all
it's
the
been great.
information
Yeah.
being accessible.
Yes.
That's great.
It's been
And
good.
Michelle, how do people refer to you? You know, are you a baker? Are you a businesswoman? The CEO, the boss? I mean, what's, you know?
I certainly think they just look at me as a CEO. I don't think they ever call me a baker. I remember in the early days, I would be in the bakery all the time. And I would be there through the night shift because we had 3 shifts. We've had 3 shifts for many years through the night. So I would be there with them on the night shift when we just started up. So I guess in those days I was a baker.
Yes. Okay. And you know, besides 1982 buying the original business, what's your personal story, your education like? I mean, what were the early days of Michelle?
Well, Michelle always wanted to be a teacher. My father said no, not a teacher, not enough income. So when I told him I was going to study psychology, I think he mistook it for psychiatry.
Okay.
But I really wanted to do counseling in school. So I did a master's in psychology and a minor in mathematics. I loved math. I love numbers. I just like the way they fit together and they make sense. And I did that at York University in Canada. Then
Excellent.
when I graduated, it was right then and there. Herbie and I had met while I was in university. So we came to, we
So
came back to Jamaica.
it was college love, or
Yes.
at the time? Okay.
He didn't go there though. He had his own business at that time.
Okay.
Yes. So we came to Jamaica, and that was when we bought Honey Bun. So I was brand new in business. I went to teaching first at Campion College. And then when Herbie bought Honey Bun, I came over to Honey Bun to work with him and run the business.
A great story. We're going to come right back to you.
Okay.
And we take our first break on Business Live Extra. We're talking to Michelle Chong, CEO, Honey Bun Limited. More of her story when we return. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Michelle Chong, CEO, Honey Bun Limited. Honey Bun is a publicly traded wholesale bakery. It was purchased in 1982 by the husband and wife duo of Herbert and Michelle Chong. The company started out as a retail bakery with 12 employees. It now boasts over 400 employees with over 40 products under the brand. Let's hear more from Michelle Chong. Michelle, welcome back.
Thank you, Mark.
So, you were talking about math, right, and how you loved it. I mean, has that immensely helped you with having these, fantastic accounts, financial statements, and all these awards?
A lot, a lot. Because when we just went on the junior market, and before, I was more or less the person producing the financials.
Okay.
So
you were kind of like, doubling up or just helping out with the FC.
Yes, I would have had an
CFO
accountant, but they would not have been a strong accountant at the time.
Right.
So I would have to look over the numbers and understand them. Now that I have a financial control, I'm wondering, how did I do that?
Yeah. And what do you, in hindsight, what do you think your strengths were really? Like, were you a production person? Were you a finance accountant or marketing? Or were you having to just do everything as a business owner?
I was strong in both production. I love production, flow, management, efficiency, taking 2 seconds out of every product. I really love production. And I was also strong in finance, but it was just from a have to do it basis. Mm-hmm. Not strong in marketing, but you had to do a bit of everything, right?
And point taken. And how do you see Honey Bun today, 8 years later, post-IPO? How much
Yes.
structure is in the company? Are you at the optimal structure point? Do you still feel you're going to put more structure in, or are you where you need to be?
Definitely going to put more structure in. What I've really enjoyed in the growth is hiring people who are qualified and competent. That has been a tremendous refreshment for me. I mean, just to be able to have people who can tell you, have recommendations, very strongly opinionated. So sometimes we have a little tug of war.
Okay.
But it's good. It's
Yes.
good. It's a great feeling to have qualified people working with us.
Well, and how do you view the business? Is it a family business? I mean, you're a public company. Public companies can be family business, but is it a family business, or is it a corporate, or how do you define Honey
I
Bun?
think I will always define it as a family business for more than one reason. The first one is that we have two sons working in the business, and one manages operation and one manages distribution. And when Crystal, my daughter, was with the company, she was marketing, so they had different strengths. But besides the fact that you have my husband and my two sons in the business, we're also very family oriented. So if you were to ask the workers, to describe the culture, they'd say it's a very family culture. So I don't know, we've gone corporate, we've grown the business, and we're still having this feeling of a family culture within the business. So I think that it's a family business. Yeah.
But you've been very clear in demarking, each person's roles.
Very clear.
Would you say?
Yes.
And how important has that been in hindsight to the success of the business?
You mean, well, first of all, you have to set targets. You have to have people own responsibilities. So you can't have a messy org chart. You have to be able to know this is what you do, this is your key responsibilities this year, your key performance activities this year, this is the targets you need to meet, and you can't kind of make it slight between you or you can do it. It has to be very specific who is responsible. So.
And you made the jump to go public in 2012. Why don't you think many other Jamaican bakeries have gone public? and why did you do it in hindsight?
So one of the primary reasons for going public was because it was a family business. And I think it needed to have that structure so that the children would have very clear indicators as to what their roles are, and it wasn't going to be mommy and daddy. It would have to be Mr. Chong, Mrs. Chong, and we started that from long before we went public. But nonetheless, it would be the directors to choose succession. It would be the directors who held us responsible, not another family member. So that was one of the main reasons. Yeah, of course, there are other reasons. The tax incentive is certainly another one. And I really enjoy the structure in a corporate environment where you have a board and you have rules. I enjoy that. A lot of people may not enjoy it, but I like it. I'm one of those people who played cards by the rules.
So that's the teacher. That's the teacher, and you're coming out. You like the structure.
Yes, I like the structure. And I find that the directors, particularly our directors, give you so much more than what you have. I said for a long time I lived in four walls, and now that you've gone public, you're learning and growing from directors who have networked with other people. So I think it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
On that point, Michelle, you had a notable director, who passed, Michelle.
Oh, yes.
Notable in the stock market.
Yes.
Famous for his comments at forums.
Yes.
What did he mean to your life and to the Honey Bun team?
Boy, Sushil will always be there with us. We actually, our new building that we did in 2018 was actually dedicated to him, and the building is called the Sushil Jain building.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was looking for a mentor, I just asked for the best. I don't try to just find somebody. I don't try to find somebody who we can afford. I just say, who is the best mentor? Because he was going to be the person who would hold your hand and take you along. So I just wanted to travel the right road at the beginning. So when I met with Sushil to ask him to be a mentor, I think that he was like, well, and then when I said to him, I have children in the business and I want them to learn all the things that they need to learn. And that was what hooked him. He enjoyed helping young people to develop them. So having him sit at the board, first of all, he was very humorous at the board.
So he was really a true mentor.
He was a
he
true
wasn't just kind
mentor.
of signing an agreement and
For generations.
keeping you there, but he was really actually teaching
Yes,
and holding your hand.
Yes. And I remember I would send Social the quarterly reports, and he returned it 10 times.
You
So
mean
he
like
was
fix this and fix this?
Yes, he was such a stickler, and he would find every mistake. So he's really brought our standard to what it is.
But it's your reputation and your brand.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And he was very instrumental in those investor relations awards that we got at the stock exchange. He never missed a beat, never missed a beat.
And since that, I mean, what have you done to fill that gap, which is an immense gap? I mean, how have you, whether it's succession or board governance, what have you and Honey Bun done since then?
So we replaced Social when he died with Wayne Ray, who is a fantastic fit for the board because it's a family culture.
Yes.
So certain people will fit well and maybe some won't, but we've been very fortunate. God knows he takes care of us. And Wayne Ray is now our mentor. And we also engaged Yannick Page, who is also outstanding. We have Paul Moses, who was our advisor even before we went public and has always had very high standards. And we have Charles Hehold, who is knowledgeable from the Grace Kennedy background.
Okay.
And so we have a great board. And we recently did a board evaluation.
Okay.
Something again required for the corporate governance application. So we've taken that very seriously. We do annual board evaluations and
Are those like
CEO.
self-evaluations or more peer-to-peer, or
It's
is it a mix?
peer-to-peer.
Okay.
It's peer-to-peer as well as self. And they have the CEO evaluation as well. And we did a board evaluation this year with
So
Cube.
you do the full gamut, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Cube did our board evaluation this year with a lot of recommendations for improvements. So there's constant improvements going on, constantly. Yeah. So we're excited because the board evaluation has given us a lot of new ideas.
There's to do.
Yeah.
And Michelle, how difficult has it been for you, or maybe rewarding? There's not a lot of female CEOs out there, or what I would call real CEOs. There are CEOs of subsidiaries.
Okay.
There might be CEOs out there, but you're a real female boss in Jamaica. At the end of the day, you're a public company CEO. You're a major shareholder or majority shareholder. How either rewarding or difficult has it been?
I just don't think about it.
You don't?
I don't think about it.
And is that one of the reasons for your success, or?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I'm just me, and I don't think about female or male or anything. I think that, especially when it comes to myself, I don't really think about it.
You just get it done.
I just get it done. That's not something.
And your results show.
And yeah, whatever the results are, that's it. Nothing to do with female or male.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And I've also learned that there's a role for everybody because my husband and I have very different styles of managing the business. And I have come to learn that you need both.
Have you ever come across any obstacles in the boardroom or just in the business environment, or none at all? You just push on?
Well, one might say I'm a little bit bossy.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I thought you
were the quiet type.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not in the boardroom. No.
Okay.
So, not the quiet type. So, I had to learn how to engage others more because remember, you're running a business and you're the primary person running it. Your say is the last say. Everything is going along fine. And then you have now a board. So I had to really learn how to listen, how to be able to really take people's ideas because, anybody can give you a great idea. It doesn't matter where they're from, who they are. Anybody can give you the bright idea. So it's been a good experience. It's been a growth experience, certainly.
But at the end of the day, you find the buck starts and stops with you.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I always wondered, why is it that I always got up with all the work? Because you're the CEO.
And how many employees, whether it's contract and full-time, what's the size of the business or the machinery now?
So the size of the business is between 400 and 430. The reason I say that is because our production staff are scheduled based on demand. So they're not all full-time workers. Some of them are they get a couple days a week. So this is why when COVID started, we were able to actually manage the staff without letting go anyone. If the sales demand were down, you could just give less days to some staff, but never let go anybody.
All right. And I recall when you went public, let's just use 300 million or so, roughly. And you mentioned earlier 1.8 billion. So you've grown sixfold, 8 years. I mean, huge growth. Is there still more market share out there that Honey Bun can get, that you can claw?
Yes, definitely.
And what's the driver? Is it new products, or is it just efficiency, or is it a mix?
It's two things. I believe that the new products, and one of our new products now, which is our hot dog roll and our burger breads, we consider them new products, particularly during the COVID period when people needed easy fix things. So new products is one, and I think more powerful distribution.
Okay, all right, great. We're going to get right back to that. We're talking to Michelle Chong. We'll hear more about the sweet and not so sweet of business when we come back. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Michelle Chong, CEO, Honey Bun Limited. Honey Bun made its first foray into export market in 1996. It currently ships products to the Caribbean, United States, and England. The company listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange in 2012 and has the distinction of being the first Jamaican bakery which to become HACCP certified in 2016. We continue to talk with Michelle Chong. Michelle, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah. So export, do you export quite a bit at Honey Bun? Is Honey Bun a big exporter from Jamaica and bucking the trend of Jamaica?
That's not certainly our major revenue earner, but it's an important part of revenues. So we started to export, and the thing with our products is that you need a long shelf life to export. So baking products, there are not a whole lot of them that have a long shelf life, you know. So we have our buns, our spice buns, or Easter buns that we export a lot. And we found that the UK market gobbled them up and they wanted them all year. So it wasn't just Easter. So that's why we call them spice buns during the year. And 2 years ago, or a little less than 2 years, we started to do our pocket rum cakes. These are small, single-serving pocket cakes.
So you're making spice buns year-round now?
Year-round.
Okay.
Yes. So the pocket cakes have also done extremely well. So it's just really those two products. We do other smaller shipment to the Caribbean, which are shorter shelf life, the donuts, the cinnamon rolls, the coconut rolls, and so forth. But those are by air.
What's your favorite product?
My favorite product is the chocolate Goldie.
Chocolate Goldie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a little product and some cream in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's my favorite product. Yes.
And what's the best, what can you tell us? What's the best selling product of Honey Bun? What's your bread and butter?
Right up at the top is Jamaica's #1 donut. And it's been forever. You know, we've just been known for our donuts forever, and the quality is consistent. It's very low cost. And it tastes very good, and it lasts long. I mean, usually if you're in the States, a donut is a day, but our donuts can last a week.
And these are single serve? These come in a box?
Serve.
What's the packaging like?
We have some in the box that the vendors on the street buy, but the majority of our sales are single serve.
Okay. And Michelle, when you started in 1982, like what your website says, your bio, everything, how have the donuts changed from your start, or even the packaging, to know, how has your products evolve with the company of Honey Bun?
Yeah, we're always working on the improvement of the products. So that's one. We went through a phase when we also looked at reducing the amount of ingredients in a product just to get it more and more natural. And we continue to do that even now. So the quality of the product has improved year over year. As for packaging, I believe we were one of the first companies to actually have the single products in printed bags.
Okay. That's like the plastic bags when you jump into a gas station and see it.
Yes.
Okay.
So that has been a big plus for us because we started to do all these single-serve products. You know, before you would put them in a plastic bag and you'd kind of tie the top.
Gotcha.
You probably won't remember that in 1982, but
I always remember, you know, I always
You
remember
won't remember
Prestige.
them.
I remember Prestige donuts and a few others, but
Yes,
I
they were
haven't
in the
seen.
box.
And those are in boxes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And what's the competitive landscape like for Honey Bun today? Is it
Wow.
a very competitive market,
very competitive.
or is Honey Bun gobbling up the market? What's it like
I
out
would
there?
like to think we're gobbling up the market, Mark. It's competitive,
Competitive.
but competition is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It keeps everybody on their toes.
True.
But we find we lead and others follow. So you'll find that you do something and then somebody else is doing it. So we consider ourselves certainly the market leaders.
And what do you view Honey Bun as the leader in today?
Innovation in products, innovation, and also consistency in quality. And I want to say very clearly, consistency in our food safety. Because I would tell anybody that any of our staff can leave Jamaica, go abroad to work, and they are knowledgeable about world-class standards in food safety. Because we're audited every year by international companies for a food safety program. We have a document on everything we do. When you cleaned, what the swab tests were, you know, the whole sanitation, traceability, the trucks, how making sure they're checked every day. So when you're buying from Honey Bun, you're buying something you can't see.
Yes.
You're buying strong food safety standards.
And you did say it's a university.
It's university.
So this is a part of your university program.
That's a part of the university program. Those employees that work with us, they can go anywhere and say that they know HACCP because they have to be, and that's the name of the food safety program, HACCP, HACCP. So they can say anywhere that they know what HACCP is. They're trained twice a year in HACCP and good manufacturing practices.
And do you do crackers as well too, Michelle?
No, we don't do crackers.
Not crackers?
No.
Any plans in the future? Or
Well, right now we have a picnic cracker.
You don't have to give yourself away today if you don't want to.
Which is produced for us.
Okay.
But we don't actually manufacture it there at the factory.
Is it like a smaller package? Or?
Yes, it's a single-serve package of crackers, yes.
You recently went into bread as well. How is that? How is that going?
Not so recent, though.
No?
Shorty is not so recent. I would think maybe 5 years, 6 years.
As long as that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But what happened is that we didn't have the capacity to produce what was demand up until 2018 when we bought another property. We were, I mean, God bless company, you know. I mean, we were at 26 retirement, and then 22 became available, so we were driving around to 22 to 26, and then 24 became available.
And you've been able to pick them all up?
Not only pick them up, to win the bid to purchase.
To purchase?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've done very well. So we've expanded a lot, and in 2018 we increased the physical production capacity. And so that was when we really picked up. I think we increased our profits in 2019 by 94%.
Yes, you had a big jump in profits and a big jump in cash and investments.
Yes, because of the capacity. So we were being held back a lot before that because we just didn't have the space. Yeah.
Okay. And your brands are always on fire, one might say, or interesting brands. So you've called the bread Shorty, and it seems it has taken off now, and you have the brand on some of your trucks and distribution.
Right.
So how is the market? You know, how are your sales for Shorty? I mean, how is the market gravitating towards it?
Fantastic. Growing all the time. Month over month, they're growing. Year over year, they're growing. So.
Is it sliced or is it?
It's sliced.
Okay.
It's a very nice bread. I mean, how does one get a nice bread? Isn't bread? But people tell us that it's a very nice bread.
Okay.
And they like the fact that it's a smaller bread. And so you have other companies coming out with smaller breads now. But the Shorty was really the powerhouse for a size bread that was affordable, tastes really good. And now we have in that brand line, we have our hot dog buns and our burger buns, which are excellent.
So those are all under Shorty as well?
All under Shorty.
So Shorty is like a bread line or breaded goods.
Right, and those products have sesame seed on them, so they're a little bit different from what one would normally get in the marketplace, because you know you'll get them, but they're not nothing is different about them. So don't come up with something the same as what exists. What's the added value? So these have the sesame seeds, which are good for you, and they add a flavor to the bread, and so those are doing really well.
So there really is a vision to, Shorty itself it's not just going to be one product. There can be multi products in it,
Yes.
and you could have different.
And we're launching one in December.
Okay.
We're launching
what's it
one
going to be?
next week. It's going to be our cinnamon loaf.
Okay.
So it's going to be a cinnamon and raisin loaf, and you'll see the swirl in the bread. And when you toast it, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Have you tried it?
Yes. I've tried it too often.
Okay.
But it's going to be fantastic.
Do you do whole wheat products as well, or
Yes,
other healthy
also
products?
has wheat bread and a
Okay.
white bread, yes.
Okay.
And then our raisin bread also is a healthier product. It's a single serve product. Amazing when you make an egg sandwich out of it. Just imagine a single serve raisin bread, and then you put you put egg in there and make an egg sandwich with it.
Okay. And
Everybody should know what that tastes like. It's a raisin that do it, you know. It's just a little sweet in the egg sandwich.
And all of that's been done in-house, Michelle?
Yes, everything is done in-house, except for the crackers, like I told you, outsource that.
Outsource that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've also have our coconut roll and our raisin bread that we have improved on the quality because, as I said, it's a process of continuous improvement. Those tend to be our healthier products because the coconut and also because of the raisin and the cinnamon. So we do have healthy ingredients.
And is there anything that you find, whether it's a board or yourself, are you benchmarking yourself or starting to say to yourself, well, you are a snack company, in breads, you have crackers outsourced, are you like a RJR and Nabisco? Are you a Pillsbury? Are you looking at any global companies now and saying, wow, Herbie or Board, we were 300 million, we're now 1.8 billion. There might be a global company we're starting to feel like. Is there any big brands?
Well, I think certainly Bimbo, because they have a lot of single products as well. They're the largest bakery in the U.S., not for breads, but for these similar products. So
what's their marquee products out of curiosity, or what's their claim to fame?
Maybe like muffin type of products.
Cupcakes.
Yes.
And your donuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they don't have donuts.
They don't do donuts.
No.
All right.
Nobody can do donuts like us. Don't try.
Yeah. And any aspirations for retail trade, or you're happy with being the manufacturer and the core business right now?
We're going to be opening up more outlets. We will be opening more outlets.
Do you have any outlets currently? Or?
Yeah, we have 4 of them, but they're all in Kingston. That's why we need more.
Okay.
We have one at Princess Street, we have one at Crossroads, and we have one in Halfway Tree and one on East Street. So we have 4 outlets now.
Okay. And Michelle, do you strategically brand them the same brand Honey Bun, or do you do it under a different brand?
No, they're under the same brand.
We
have a new one. We added a new outlet right at our factory now. So we have an outlet at the factory. We did that during COVID.
And did you see some, reap some dividends from that? Or
Yes,
you saw
certainly.
Sales?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
Because people like to buy where the bread is made.
Yes. Okay.
So that outlet opened maybe 2 months or 3 months ago now.
Okay.
So we have 5 outlets in Kingston, and we need some outlets in the
So
country.
right on retirement, anyone can just drive right in,
right between
pick up what you want.
22 and 26 Retirement Crescent, yes.
Okay, unbelievably good. I like that. And we take our final break on Business Live Extra. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Michelle Chong, CEO, Honey Bun Limited. Dear to Michelle's heart is the Honey Bun Foundation. Its mission is to build powerful models for SMEs and the creative industry. The goal is for these industries to transform the Jamaican economy. In October 2020, 14 small and medium-sized enterprises graduated from the foundation's Create Your Strategic Road Map initiative. Let's go back to Michelle for our final segment. Michelle.
Yes, Mark.
Welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
There's so many foundations in Jamaica. Some that have worked, some that have had issues, and so forth. What makes the Honey Bun Foundation so dynamic and different?
So, Mark, 2 things. as a background to the foundation. One is that while I was president at the Jamaica Exporters Association, it occurred to me that these small businesses were not growing. They were not doing the things that they should be doing to become bigger businesses in Jamaica. Too few of them were. So capacity was critical for me. So I had a few things that I really wanted to see happen for small businesses. That's one. In 2017, Honey Bun updated its mission statement, and it was updated to lead, achieve, and I added to serve. So we wanted to lead through innovation, which we do, achieve financial success for our stakeholders, and to serve a greater good. So it's one thing to have a business and you earn profits, but you have to give back. And so the serve part was very important to me, and this is my exit strategy. You know, I won't live forever, but I needed to be doing something that the company could give back to the Jamaican economy.
And when you say that, Michelle, exit strategy, is it a play on, you know, legacy, or when you say that, you mean like a few years from now, something that you can be doing if you transition, you mean out of the day-to-day running of Honey Bun, or
you know
what do you mean?
The Lord has not downloaded that as yet. He just said, this is where I want you to be right now.
Right now.
I want you to be. And my general manager for the foundation, I mean, I interviewed her once a year before the foundation, and I knew she had a place there because she told me about how she wanted to serve, how she's fond of, you know, doing this kind of work. And I said, well, the time is going to come. So I called her up, and that's Nashana Lala, and she's doing a brilliant job managing the foundation.
And so it's fully operational in the sense of it has a separate and distinct team.
It has a separate board too. We have 3 amazing directors for for the foundation.
Excellent.
And it's been doing so well.
So that's very interesting. And what would you say though gave you the inspiration to make it a active foundation? In other words, I've seen many foundations that just maybe take a percentage of profits and, you know, give donations or do Christmas treats. But what's unique is you're very clear that your foundation it's executing, and it's for, you know, well, it's very active for SMEs. So what gave you this inspiration?
I'm the type of person who I have to see things happening all the time. I need progress. I can't do anything that is going to sleep. I can't do sleepy things. And if I work with too large a group, then I'm held back. So I needed a small enough structure so that I could get things executed. Extreme focus. The foundation is extremely focused on what it is doing. We're not trying to do things. We're not trying to be everything for everybody. We're very focused. So we had 4 specific objectives. And I did not know when we launched last year that 1 year later, I would be able to say to you, 2 are completed and 1 is on the road to completion. So the 4 of them very quickly is to develop a national training calendar for SMEs. So they wouldn't have to go shopping all over the place for where they need capacity to be closed out. They can go on the honeybunfoundation.com and look at when certain courses are being delivered every year at the same time. So those training organizations that we're aligned to, we don't do the training, you know, we just bring them together on this platform. So that was the one. The second one was what we call our GAP app. So what it is, it's an app that you download on your phone, and it's so ready. We can't wait to launch it in January. So we're launching it in January. What you do is you answer 10 or 15 questions. I need to know the exact number, I'm not sure. And at the end of it, it will indicate to you what the gaps are in your business. It's free. It's on an app. You download it, you answer the question, and then it will tell you where to go to get support. So it will tell you whether you need to you can go to the Foundation for Training, you can go to JBDC, you can go to JMEA, PSOJ, wherever the services that you need to close those gaps in your business are, it will point you there. It will point you to where you can get funding, it will point you to, so it's an amazing tool. And so that one will be launched in January because it's complete. In fact, it was such a fantastic program that the software writers said they want to contribute and write it. So we just got that.
And Michelle, from a public company shareholder standpoint, how have you made it affordable for yourself as Honey Bun, so that there's no conflicts of interest? Have you had to bring on partners? Like, are there partners who have become donors as well? Or how does the funding work?
So what we do is we're certainly building our language or our strategies to work with private sector.
Okay.
So just in January, when we're about to start to talk to private sector, that, COVID came about.
Yes.
And so that kind of put us back a bit with that funding. But we've done well because we've had people who sponsor. For the curriculum, we had 5 significant companies that contributed to the curriculum program you spoke about.
Okay.
The third business model that we're developing is an advisory board for small businesses. Mm-hmm. So out of the curriculum training, we actually had all the trainees who successfully completed the training, the 12 courses in business. They were provided with 3 advisors. And I mean, I got amazing people. Okay. I got very high positions in JAMPRO. I have lawyers sitting as advisors.
Who you're seeing really believe in the goodwill.
Yes.
and the gestures that you're coming out with.
Yes, and when I tell you how I've matched them up, so
Yes.
we're doing that advisory committee for those small businesses so we can use it to test what works. Mm-hmm. So that's the advisory board. And the last one will be the back office support for small businesses.
I mean, the accounting.
Yes, talent managing.
And is there any synergies with the core business, or this is purely, goodwill gesture, purely foundation work, or are there some synergies down the road to come maybe with Honey Bun itself?
Well, certainly we meet people that we feel are good businesses. So if there's any opportunity for us to invest, then that would certainly come up. But that's not the intention.
It's not the intention.
No, but it would certainly lead. It could certainly lead to that because we've met a few.
Excellent. And those could be things that could create diversification.
Yes.
Or core business.
Yes.
Because you have $300 million of cash now. It's a good number. Your balance sheet is very attractive.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And long term, 3, 5, 7 years on the road, you see this foundation will it go from 14 SMEs to a bigger number, or is it about quality, or what's the vision here?
So, Mark, we don't want to imagine that the foundation is going to take on the role of being everything for all. And this is our really...
Well said. Mm-hmm.
This is our critical value proposition. Mm-hmm. We build models.
What does that mean?
It means that if we say this is how you construct a house, then we don't need to construct all the houses. We can say, association X or Y or Z. This is a model.
So partnerships.
Partnerships, collaboration.
Okay.
We don't have to do any of it, We build the models. What is working? What is not working? And we will document it and we'll say, this is what works. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. We don't have to own it.
Got it.
So it won't be 14 from the foundation. The first 14, yes. Mm-hmm. Maybe the second 14. But the way it works is you go on the training calendar and you click on curriculum and you'll find curriculum in January. You'll find that the curriculums for exporting will be there. These are the 10 courses you need to export. Access to finance. These are the 10 courses you need to do for access to finance. So they're curriculum programs not offered by Honey Bun, but offered by training organizations.
Right, you're just channeling it.
We're just bringing them together. So that's a model.
And Michelle, taking it back to core, down the road from now, same thing, 5, 10 years, where's Honey Bun going? Are you shooting for $5 billion in revenue? Are you shooting to acquire other bakeries? Where is Honey Bun itself going?
Well, all of the above.
Really?
Yes. We want to certainly increase our revenue.
So where's Honey Bun not going in the next 5 years? Where do you not want? What do you not want to do?
There are lots of places we don't want to go, and I think there has to be the component of local in there. So what is it what can we do locally to help grow other local businesses, buy more ingredients from local?
Okay.
It's not into importing.
Right.
So that's a definite.
When you look at your financials now, your top line is growing lovely. Your margins are very attractive. I mean, do you find now being a public company, you've taken off, you have a good external auditor, are people knocking at your door every couple of months? Michelle, sell me your company?
A few.
Okay.
A few, yes.
Is that something that, family business, it could become attractive, or, as you said, you have the kids in the company, that can be second generation, you want to keep this in the family, or it depends?
It will certainly depend on the children in the business and what they want to do. But you see, this was part of the reason for going public too, so that at least, if the children have no interest in the business will still continue to operate.
Excellent. Yeah. And on a growth perspective, though, what about international markets, Caribbean markets?
Definitely.
You mentioned earlier about export. Are you 10% export now, 20% export? Any numbers on the export
We don't
side?
like to share that.
Okay. What about Caribbean expansion?
Yes, we've started to have a good customer, and we've started to have a good customer in the Caribbean. We've had a few small ones, but now we have one that is growing.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. In Antigua.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you in the Trinidad and Barbados markets, or the next logical markets yet, with manufacturing plants or anything?
No.
Nothing as yet?
So those are all ideas, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at how we're going to grow. We had to grow our local capacity first.
You mean at the manufacturing plant?
At the manufacturing plant, because the demand was there, but we had to fulfill those demands. So we've grown that, and we are on to thinking about other growth areas.
Okay.
A little more diversification so that it's not only the same thing, but it will probably have some newness to it, innovation.
And any Christmas products? Are the Buccaneer rum cakes ready for Christmas?
Let me tell you, we've just redone our Buccaneer pocket cakes so that it's appealing to export market. So it's premium. The packaging has been upgraded to premium. They're beautiful, gold beef or Buccaneer on the packaging. I wanted to bring one for
Export?
you,
Export? Or?
Export. It will be available locally too, particularly in the tourist areas. So that is one that just came out.
You're giving Tortuga a run for its money in the Buccaneer market?
Yes.
All right. It's great to hear.
And the other product is, of course, for Christmas, is our cinnamon raisin loaf. Toaster slice, outstanding.
That's great.
Yeah.
Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And have that with a cup of coffee.
Yes, okay. I'll send for you, Mark.
That's it for another edition of Business Live Extra. We've been talking to Michelle Chong, CEO, Honey Bun Limited. Don't forget, you can watch us online at cvmtv.com/business. Thanks for joining us.